Hello, I'm James Shad of the Shad Law Firm located in Columbia, South Carolina. And I am so grateful that you all came on to check this video out. This is the final one in our series regarding divorce in South Carolina. And just to recap, we talked in our first episode about deciding to divorce. In the second episode, we talked about if you are the one who are forced to divorce, meaning that your spouse has already filed, you've been served, and so what do you do if you're on the other side of that? We talked about the journey to divorce, getting up to that point in the third episode. The next episode was managing your affairs, and that's really from a financial, that's getting into the nuts and bolts of what you need to do in terms of reviewing things from a financial standpoint, because it can be costly, not only emotionally, but also from a financial standpoint. And then the next episode was regarding how to handle the emotional side. Divorce can be tough. It can be gut wrenching. It can be emotionally driven. There's a roller coaster through the process, and how you manage emotions in that and what you can do to assist yourself in that. And then that led into the next episode of having that support system, a group of folks, a team, if you will, who can assist you from the managing things, being that sounding board. And so it's very crucial to have that support system there with you, even if it gets to a point of having a counselor. And so in this episode, this final one, we're going to talk about the aftermath. This is after you have gotten to divorce. I talked before about reverse engineering, starting with the end in mind. And now we are at that point where we are winding up the marriage. We are finishing up the divorce. We've gone to court. The judge has approved it. And I just want to pause here. Life is about decisions. There are macro decisions and there are micro decisions. We talked earlier about making the decision to divorce and then devising a strategy and the tactics that we would go through. But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable. You have to have peace of mind as it relates to this next chapter in your life. And so the decisions that you made several months ago with regard to your divorce and where we are now is now going to have an impact in the short term, but also in the long term. And so some of the things that you need to think about in this aftermath period is, what does life look like for you now? You are now going to be single. Depending on how long you've been married, it's a new challenge for you to now be a single person. What does it look like from a financial standpoint? Are you a single parent in the sense that you no longer have that person in the home with you, co-parenting your child or your children? But now it's all on you, or the majority of the time is on you. Or if you're the non-custodial parent, you're not seeing your children as much as often as you once did. And so now are you reduced to being what some call a weekend parent, where you're seeing your child or your children every other weekend? That is an adjustment as well. Sometimes it gets down to, okay, my life insurance policies, once I had my spouse on there, I no longer want to have my spouse on there. In fact, you don't need to have your spouse on there because they no longer have an insurable interest in your life. And so you have to change your beneficiaries, change the beneficiary at the retire with your retirement plan. You need to just make sure that you wind everything down. Perhaps now there's a name change. You've been granted the change in your name to your maiden name, and so you have to go to DHEC Vital Statistics to make sure that it is changed there. You have to make sure that you or if it's regarding your children, go to DHEC in terms of any name change that may have occurred as well. But you have to change things perhaps with Social Security. You have to change things on your insurance policies, on a will that you may have, or if you have a new will. And I would always suggest that you get a new will, that you make sure you're using your new legal name, one that is different, of course, from the married name that you have. And so, what does dating look like? What are decisions going to be made in this aftermath period in terms of dating? How much do you want to share with the new person about how things went? Because, you're making those calls, and unfortunately, some people still frown upon, divorces and kind of view it as a failed marriage. You don't need to look at it that way, but they still may. And so what does that impact? If you're bringing someone into this new relationship, and how does that impact your children in custody? Will the other side have an issue with you dating? So you try to take all those things into consideration as it relates to what your next is going to be. And so these are some things that you can have these conversations with the lawyer. Many lawyers don't even get into that part, but it's something that I do because I want to help you beyond just my representing you in court. And so I'm just asking you to, if we can help you in South Carolina with regard to navigating, please give us a call at 803 803-771-7460. That's 803-771-7460. My email address is james@shadlawfirm.com. My web address is shadlawsc.com. You can ask for a confidential consultation through our web address, and we'll be happy to sit down and talk with you about what your next looks like. It's been a pleasure doing this series with you, and I look forward to bringing you even more content. Also, make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell so that you can always stay up to date on the latest content that we will have. Again, life is about choices, it's about decisions that you make that can have an impact, and it can be a positive one. So again, give us a call, James Shad of the Shad Law Firm, so that we can help you achieve peace of mind. Take care.